With Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
This is your captain speaking. We've got clear runway and the weather's fine, but we're just going to circle up here a while and get lucky. No, nothing like that. It's just these cash prizes add up quick. So I suggest you sit back, keep your tray table upright, and start getting lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details. With Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to... Has anyone seen the bride and groom?
Sorry, we're here. We were getting lucky in the limo and we lost track of time.
No, Lucky Land Casino, with cash prizes that add up quicker than a guest registry.
In that case, I pronounce you lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Daily bonuses are waiting. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Hello, folks. This is Who Did You Boycott Today? This is part 4. I certainly did not anticipate this recording of my Twitter space on the 29th of October 2023 would take 4 parts, but I had to break it up to make sure that it did not end at the wrong sections. So this is part 4. It certainly turned out to be an epic audio recording, just like I stated out my mouth at the beginning, that I was definitely going to have a come to Jesus moment, and it was going to be an epic recording for my records, for my personal records to pass on to my daughter when I'm dead and gone, and to set the record straight. Because folks just take the liberty to spread lies and half-truths and false narratives, and they just take the liberty to think they should get away with it. We are witnessing a prime example of that with the Freeman camp. I don't know how many different camps they have under that umbrella, but they have done serious harm. And it's not all their fault. I will not sit here and straight face and lie and say it's all the fault of the freedmen. But some persons are definitely guilty of selling out. Some persons who know who they are definitely guilty of selling out. Because what happened on the 25th of October with the Freeman Bank the Freeman Bank foreign that took place on the 25th of October, it didn't just spring up. A lot of planning went into that. A very, very lot of planning. And what I have gathered from what I have heard and listened to with my own 2 ears, they are planning a strategy to wipe out the Negro race. They didn't spell it out like that. While they were doing all that proper talking and choosing all the correct words, the Latinos, the Indians, the Jews, the Asians, every one of those persons who made an appearance is taking part in making sure that in a few more years here, our demise will be completed. That's what I heard with my 2 ears. That these persons took great pleasure in strategizing the demise of the Negro bloodline. Now, what part did Freeman play in that? I know personally from the different Twitter spaces and clubhouse of listening to individuals who claim to identify as freemen. If you would have taken the time to step back and do critical thinking and tried your absolute best to put aside your self-interest and self-agenda, any common sense college person or book learning person could have made this evaluation. And that's the question I kept asking. How can I be sitting here listening to Camilla Moore and so many other persons who have college degree and college education, who have lawyer degrees and those with common sense, and they did not see the writing on the wall that this was a scam, a hustle play? I was just a plain old common sense person. I knew I wasn't the smartest person, but I kept asking myself that one question. The more times that I listened to individuals talk, why were they not doing that critical evaluation to see that this was a scam? Even if you did not want to base your evaluation on past history of how white folks and Jews and Asians and everyone scammed you, you would have just erred on the side of caution and said, no, we will not go that route again. We just will not. We will use caution and not go down that road again. But freemen, those persons who chose to identify with that term, said, no, we are going to fight tooth and nail to resurrect the term freeman, because they have in their possession paperwork from a family member in their family tree that at some point must have received that paper from their slave master, or when their family member brought their freedom. Let me say that again. These freeman persons who identify as freemen have a family member in their family tree that did factually receive that paper that stated that they were set free by their slave master. And that was given a legal status. They labeled it legal status. Other persons who brought their freedom also received that piece of paper stating that was giving their freedom. And it was labeled as a legal status. But folks, once emancipation was signed, all of that ceased. All of that ceased. No other person received that piece of paper giving them their freedom. Once Abraham Lincoln signed emancipation, no other slave person was given that piece of paper. So why were you not able to make critical evaluation that was not the route to take? Please ask yourself hard questions. What clouded your judgment? I know you're not the persons who identify with, who have that difficult question to answer, will maybe not decide to share it with other person, but you have to answer that for yourself. The harm that was done, like I have stated on my previous audios, the harm that has been done by the freeman camp, the different camps, and not every person in the freeman camp or who chooses to identify as freeman is dishonest. But it's no denying that what was witnessed on the 25th of October has been in the works, has been planted way in advance. It didn't just pop up. It didn't just drop out the sky. It was planted for a long time. It has been in the works and been planted for a very, very long time. So those freedmen persons who are in denial, you need to stop it. You need to stop it. But the damage is done. The damage has been done. For well over 2 years, you folks have been running around here pushing this narrative about freedmen. For over 2 years. While folks died, while folks went to bed hungry, while folks became homeless, you preach that narrative. You should have made your claim separate from the Negro justice claim. You should have had the decency to do that. Those persons who were standing on honesty and truth should have pointed it out to the other freedmen persons. That should have been the exchange that should have taken place. I don't know if it's possible to recover from the damage that has been done. But one thing is absolutely clear. These bolden immigrants and Asians, they even, when you go back and listen to that recording, they put immigrant first. When they were speaking, they always said immigrants and colored people, colored persons. They said immigrants and colored persons, like they were here first. These sorry human beings put themselves first when they made their statements out their mouth. That's how bolden they are. That they don't even have the decency to respect the ancestors' sacrifice when giving their thoughts and comments out of their mouth. They don't even have the decency to respect and honor the ancestors' sacrifice. No, they don't even mention the word Negro. They don't even mention it first. They insert themselves first. If when you go back and listen to the recording, you're going to hear them say several times over and over again, immigrants first. Immigrants and colored persons, immigrants and so-and-so persons. You're going to hear that repeated several times throughout the recording. So, folks, that's what I heard with my 2 ears. These folks was gloating, and they were quite pleased with their presence there, that they were orchestrating a plan to genocide the Negro presence, existence. If you didn't read between the lines and hear that loud and clear, then you must have been deaf. You had to be deaf. Because that's exactly what I heard with my 2 ears, coming from the Latino lady especially. I mean, her gloating, you could feel it through the phone. If you were listening to it on your phone or your computer, you could hear it through the device. She says, I need to give a shout out to the Latinos. I need to give a shout out to the Latinos. These folks are pathetic. They are pitiful. They try to use our slang and talk the way we talk, and they think they're smarter than us because they have money backing them, and they have power backing them, and they have control backing them. They think we are a pushover. They don't mind stealing from us in every way humanly possible, from the way we talk, from the way we walk, from the way we create things. They steal everything that we do. Whether that's the way we talk, the way we create things, the way we walk. I'm not going to say to try to steal the way we think, because that one I just don't think they're capable of being able to do that. But they come very close to trying to steal the way we think also, but can't quite get that one. But that lady, I don't remember her name, but it's the lady who said, let me give a shout out to the Latinos. And as I stated on my previous audio, I seen the writing on the wall in 2003. The Latinos and Mexicans are making a plan to take over America. They never got over the Alamo. I knew it back in 2003. That was what was taking place. And that event that happened on the 25th of October, 2023, it certainly exposed that. Those folks were gloating. They were boldly gloating as they spoke. Each one of them were boldly gloating. And Maxine Waters, she's going to answer for her crime of being there. Each one of those melanated persons who were present, you're going to be judged for your part in this participation. Because those persons at that event and many other ones that we have no knowledge of, they are orchestrating the genocide, the final nail in the coffin for the Negro bloodline. And that's why they were sounding so happy and gloating so badly that it came through the phone. Because they say they see the end in sight. They pretty much have counted their chickens before they hatched. They have certainly counted their chickens before they hatched. But I don't want to talk too long at the beginning of this audio because I want to finish this audio on this part 4. But keep in mind, going forward, the Latinos and the Mexicans are strategizing to take over America. That should be no confusion for anyone. I don't know if they have signed a backroom deal with the Caucasians and the KKK and the Jews, but if you cannot listen to that audio and look at the invasion that's taking place and come to a plain old common sense conclusion that the Latinos and Mexicans are making moves and planning to take over America. And I think because they never got over the Alamo. But here's the recording. Thank you kindly for listening. You think you're going to have the ability to drown me out and try to shape this narrative about me? One thing I had made very clear if you didn't make that assessment on your own, I know who I am. I ain't never tried to pretend to be anything but who I am. That's why I seem to intimidate folks. I seem to bend folks out of shape. I seem to offend folks with my strong personality because how I present myself, because I know who I am. My mother made that clear to me when I was young. So I give all that thanks to my mother for helping me to understand that at a very young age. That has served me well. That has helped me to be a confident person, self-confident person, a self-motivating person, a person who can stand up to scrutiny any given day of the week. Because I don't just blow with the wind. I don't just blow with the wind. I know who I am, and I stand on that. I don't just go along to get along. I don't just go along to be accepted in cliques. I don't just go along to be accepted into little groups and clubs. No. I made that decision. I started making that decision in junior high school.
Judy was boring.
Hello.
Then Judy discovered ChumbaCasino.com.
It's my little escape.
Now Judy's the life of the party.
Oh, baby, mama's bringing home the bacon.
Whoa, take it easy, Judy. The Chumba life is for everybody. So go to ChumbaCasino.com and play over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
O'Reilly. It's Superstart Battery Month at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Get up to a $25 gift card after rebate with the purchase of select Superstart batteries. Our professional parts people will test your old battery for free and recommend the right battery for your vehicle. For power, performance, and reliability, choose Superstart batteries only at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I continued to do it in senior high school. I continued to do it when I entered the military. I continued to do it when I left the military. So by now, I have it right. I've been doing it right for a very long time. I've been getting it right for a very long time. I got it right in junior high school. I got it right in senior high school. I got it right in the military. I got it right when I left the military. And I'm getting it right up to this present day. So you Negroes who are feeling yourself, you need to do the decent thing and tell the folks the truth. And clean up those lies that you have told on me. That's what you need to do if you have any decency inside of you. You need to clean up those lies that you've been telling folks about me. But you're not going to do it. I know you're not going to do it. You don't have the decency in you. But we all have the ability to make self-correction. So if you want to take the ability to do that self-correction, then you'll do it. If you care to do that, you will do it. That's not my decision to make. That's each one of you decision to make. That's not who did you boycott decision to make. So you folks have got to sit down and have a heart-to-heart talk with yourself and decide if you want to make that self-correction and clean up those lies that you have told about me. I don't think you're going to do it. But in closing, if Negro descendants expect to see one red nickel, expect to see Special Field Order 15 be re-implemented, then a boycott is going to be required. And I have the boycott community group on my profile. It's pinned to it. You don't have to click any of these other links that I have set up. So I have tried to make it as simple for you as possible. If we do not have the ability to apply enough pressure by June of 2024, we can forget about it. If we don't get this done before the election of November of 2024, we are done. So the clock is ticking. And we have the phone in our hand, and we have the power to boycott these social media platforms. So you can't make no excuse and blame anyone else. You're holding your phone in your hand, so you have the power. Each one of us have the power. So we can't blame anyone else, and we can't excuse that we are never going to be able to get it organized. You take baby steps until you get there. You make every effort to get it accomplished. You don't count yourself out before you try. You don't accept failure before you try. OG and the farmer. You don't accept failure before you try. So if y'all want to accept failure before you try this for the next 8 months, 6 months, but June of 2024 is a deadline. I don't think it'll take but 30 days. Maybe it may take a little longer, but my gut tells me it shouldn't take more than 30 days of trying it on Twitter. If enough of us commit to it and have the backbone and spine to do it on Twitter, it'll get MSNBC and CNN and Fox News attention real quick. It'll get their attention real quick. So I think if we really want to see one red nickel and we want to see Special Field Order 15 re-implemented, we are going to have to apply a boycott. Pronto. ASAP. Every day that goes by, we are wasting time. Every day that goes by, we are wasting time. And I am not about wasting my time. So this was an audio was for me to address those Negroes in that Negro space who's over there bragging and lying on me. And the second purpose of it was to make it very clear that boycotting was the only thing that could force America to pay the debt. Those are the two reasons for me making this audio. And I shall upload it to my podcast, the Boycott Podcast, and I will plaster it on all of my platforms, and I will have it on record. I will have a record for the remaining days that I have alive on this earth, that I was yelling this to the top of my lungs since February 2022. I will have a record of me doing everything in my ability to try to share this message with my people and myself, so people would not be able to shape a narrative that I didn't explain it clear enough. I didn't make it clear enough for folks to understand. I was complaining. I was crying like a baby. None of that is going to be true, because folks are going to be able to push a button and listen to a narrative, a audio recording. They're going to be able to push a button and listen to my audio recording in my own words. So you folks who think you're going to be able to shape a different narrative, this is the purpose of this recording. So it's in my voice, in my own words. I'm not going to get crucified like the civil rights ancestors. You're not going to crucify me like that. I have witnessed that for the past 2 years. So y'all have taught me a valuable lesson. You won't be crucifying Who Did You Boycott Today like that. Because I am constantly making recordings of where I stand on things in my own voice. And I also want it very clear that those of you who don't fully comprehend that you are helping America erase Negro, because You are. From the very moment that America decided to change to African American and Black American, that was a harm. But you didn't have to accept it. You have the ability to stop accepting it once you understood the information. And now you have had enough time to get that information and make that correction. At least I can say with a clear face, at least in the past year that I've been hearing it on Twitter Space. So those of you who have been on Twitter regularly for the past year, you have no excuse. Those of you who called into the OMB, you have no excuse. Those of you who have been on Twitter Spaces, after Twitter Spaces, after Twitter Spaces, still identifying with these terms, you have to accept accountability for your own demise. Because America don't have a gun in your head for you to keep on, forcing you to keep on saying those words out your mouth or to write it in print. Now, you certainly have a case to make against America that they are trying to genocide your existence. You certainly have a case to make that America has changed your ethnicity or left it blank on your birth certificate. But you don't have to accept that harm. You can say to America every day that you wake up, I will let it be known to you that you have harmed me and you will suffer consequences, America. You will not force me to genocide my own existence. If you're not sending that message to America and the rest of the world every second of the day, you are complicit in your own demise. Every one of you who identify as African American, Black American, Freeman, ADOS, FBA, and B1. And you are not only harming yourself, but you're harming your kids and their kids. So that's closing. That's the nail in the coffin. Each of you have a hard choice to make. Are you going to help America put the final nails in the coffin? Are you going to make a decision that you are proud of your bloodline, Negro, and you are willing to live and die and fight for your bloodline and your history and legacy? Because if you don't have the backbone to fight for Negro sacrifice and Negro history and legacy that they are trying to erase, then you have no ability to fight for your future. You can throw it in towel now. Because if you don't see what is happening and what part you are playing in it, if you don't see that by now, there's no hope for you. Especially if you've been on Twitter for the last year. You have no excuse. Now, those persons who are out there in the public who don't know about any of this information, they don't have a clue this is going on. They have a viable reason to be confused. But each of us who are on these social media platforms regularly, we have the ability to share that information with the rest of our people. And we are not doing that. Instead, we are painting a self-interest narrative. We're painting a self-interest agenda. And we are lying to our people. We are telling them half-truths and false narratives. Because it's self-serving. But we got 1 year. We all have 1 year to get this right. We ain't got long. The final nails in the coffin will happen by election night of November of 2024. So we ain't got long. We don't have long. If we don't get this right, if we don't get America, if we don't force America to pay this debt. We are done. We got 1 year. We got a solid 1 year to get this right. And boycotting can do it. Boycotting is the answer. We got the phone in our hand and we got the power in our hand. The only question is, do we have the backbone and the spine to get it done? That's the only unpredictable variable. Because we certainly have a phone in our hand and we can choose not to click on these apps. We certainly have the power to do it. Third thing is, do we have the backbone to utilize that power? Force America once and for all, to pay that debt and to respect each and every one of us, to respect our ancestors' sacrifice, to respect each of us for our human rights and our self-respect, and to pay for all the harm they have done. They'll never be able to pay that to repay for all the harm they have done, but they need to pay. They need to re-implement Special Field Order 15, and they need to contact IRS, because they'll never be able to pay for the harm they have done. So let's make this break. Let's have this separation, and that separation includes Special Field Order 15 and IRS and direct cash payments. And let us coexist amongst each other, because we are never going to be able to trust these sorry human beings, these evil human beings, to respect our human rights, to respect ourselves to respect us human beings, to treat us like human beings. So the best thing that America can do is to re-implement Special Field Order 15 and contact IRS the same way they did for those stimulus checks, and set up direct cash payments pronto, ASAP. If this does not get done before the November of 2024 election, we are done. We can stick a fork in each of us. We're done. Our existence is done. Our kids and their kids' future is done. We got 1 year. 1 year, and we should be able to get this done in 30 days. That's what my gut tells me, because Elon Musk is not going to want to lose all of that revenue for 30 days straight. But just say the worst case scenario, if we don't get their attention by testing this out on Twitter, we'll just include another social media platform. We'll include Facebook or Instagram. That'll be 2. If that don't get their attention, we'll include 3. If that don't get their attention, we'll include 4. We'll get their attention very quickly here, because white folks and Jews don't like to lose money. They love money more than their next breath. So we'll get their attention, and we'll be able to force them to pay that debt and leave us alone once and for all. We will finally be able to complete what our ancestors started out with Wall Street. We will finally be able to complete what the ancestors had started with Wall Street. We will have come full circle of the 246 years sacrifice that the ancestors made, the sacrifice that the ancestors who built Wall Street and Rosewood and had all those achievements went through all of that hell of being lynched and burnt and hung. And then and here we are. We at the final end of the road. If we don't get this done, we're done. So we're going to finish the job that our ancestors started. Our ancestors carved out 246 years of sacrifice. Then the next generation carved out Wall Street. And this generation will carve out Special Field Order 15 and direct cash payments from the IRS. Not from no Freeman's Bureau, not from no Freeman's Bank, but direct from our IRS. The same way they sent those stimulus checks out, it's the same way they can send the direct cash payments to every Negro descendant. Negro descendant. Because Negro was first, and what was first cannot be replaced. So all you brain dead folks is talking about we can't get anything racial passed. That's not our concern. We only have two concerns. Special Field Order 15 and direct cash payments from the IRS that only involves executive orders. And we ain't got to be listening to you brain dead folks preaching this narrative about America is never going to pass anything that's racial. That doesn't concern Negroes who know who they are. Negroes who don't mind identifying as a Negro. That don't concern us. We don't have that weak backbone. We don't have that weak spine that you folks do. Because you don't even want to identify as a Negro. Most of you don't even want to say the word Negro out your mouth. So I'm going to close there. I'm going to close out this audio. And I want it to be very clear where I stand. I want it to be absolutely clear where Who Did You Boycott Today stand. I have this for my record keeping so I can pass it on to my daughter and other family members if I am dead, and if my daughter is dead, it'll get passed to the next family member and the next family member. But we have to force America by boycotting to re-implement Special Field Order 15 and to contact IRS for those, set up those direct cash payments ASAP. And those two things have to get done by no later than June of 2024. If we miss that deadline, we have 2 more months, maybe July and August. But we want to make sure. I think we have the ability to get it done in 30 days by just simply boycotting Twitter. Start out boycotting Twitter for 1 week. If that don't bring them to the table, we'll do it for 2 weeks. If that don't bring them to the table, we'll do it for three weeks. If that does not bring them to the table, we'll do it for 4 weeks. If that does not do not bring them to the table, we'll include another social media platform. We'll pick one of these other social media platforms and include one of those other ones and start repeating the same thing over and over until they come to the table. It's just that simple. We're going to start it out on Twitter. If they don't come to the table and meet those demands, we'll include Instagram or Facebook. If they don't come to the table after 4 weeks, we'll include Instagram. If they don't come to the table, we'll include YouTube. If they don't come to the table after 4 weeks, we will include LinkedIn. If they don't come to the table after 4 weeks, we will include Clubhouse. We will keep going down the list until these sorry human beings sit down at the table and deliver those two demands. It's just that simple. It's not complicated. It's not rocket science, and it don't have to be perfectly organized, and it does not have to include everyone. It just only thing it is necessary. It's enough folks have to have the backbone and the will and determination to stick to their guns. If we have enough of us doing that, it's going to get them to the table. It's going to force them to meet those demands, those two simple demands. It's just that simple. We don't have to be doing all this pull-up, protesting, getting on buses and cars and trains and planes to pull up in different states. We don't need to be spending all that money and energy doing that. We don't need to be emailing and calling our representatives. We don't need to be praying. We don't need to be voting. We don't need to be doing any of that because we don't have time for any of that. We are out of time. We are outnumbered on all sides. And after the Freeman's Bank Forum this past weekend on the 25th or whenever they had that, they made it very clear. They made it absolutely clear they are putting together a plan to finish us off. They just don't know they have no clue what our move is going to be. If we don't come right, if we do not come right in the next couple of months, we have no one to blame but ourselves. Because we have our phone in our hand and we have the power in our hands. As long as we are holding our own phone in our hand, then we have the power to get it done. So we won't be able to blame anyone else if we don't get this done by June of 2024. We will not have any ability to blame anyone else but ourselves when we look in that mirror day after day. Because we certainly have our own phone in our hand, so we have the power in our hands. Only thing that is uncertain is, do we have the backbone and the spine to get it done? That's number 3. That's yet to be seen. That is yet to be seen. But I'm going to close out now. And I want to make it very clear, though, you Negroes in the Negro space, you have... Yes, Lord. I needed to pause right there because I had mentioned that I was going to go back and check my DMs to try to pinpoint when I arrived on Twitter, and I was a little off. I think I got over here about 2 weeks, right at the end of October of 2022. So I wasn't off that far, but I have reached my 1-year anniversary. So I was correct on my dates of when I started interacting with LaFarmer, Talent, and Aeon in the Negro space. I had been on Twitter for about 2 or 3 months when I came across the Negro space. I pretty much had it stamped in my mind that was around the time frame of when I started entering the Negro space on a consistent basis. So that had not escaped my memory. I was almost right on the nose. I got over here to Twitter right at the end of October 2022. So thank you kindly, folks, as I'm going to finish this last part. Thank you kindly. Painted this lying narrative about me, and you're going to pay for it one day. Each and every one of you who know who you are, Each one of you are going to pay for it one day. Don't think you have gotten away with it scot-free, because you have not. So, in closing, y'all take care. Thank you for listening. And please don't forget to click my profile and join that boycott community. Please listen clearly. Please click my profile and you will be able to join the boycott community that I have set up on my Twitter profile. Seeing as how all those other two platforms did not work, I took the initiative a couple days ago to set up a community boycott here on Twitter. So each person can join. And once the numbers reach a certain level, we can start implementing the boycott. Once the numbers reach a certain level, we will start implementing the boycott immediately. Is that clear? If anyone have any questions, please DM me in the back channel. Please take the time to do that. But the link is on my Twitter profile. Please click that link and join. And thank you so kindly for listening. Be safe out there. Stay alert of your environment and stay alert of the people in your environment. Do everything in your power to talk to your family members and loved ones and put as much safety around you as humanly possible. And pray to God that we will live to see another day and we will live to be able to live out our days the way they are meant to be. So keep safe and well.